Hey everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome to my January garden tour. Warning, it's an absolute mess here on the new property, but I'm getting a ton of stuff done and I'm really excited about it. So every single month for the past 2.5 years, I have been doing a garden tour of my garden. No matter if I feel like there's progress or no matter if I feel like it looks horrible and is a complete mess or if I think it looks beautiful. It is something that I have documented every month and I am so glad I've done that because it's made such a difference to see the progress in my garden, especially a month like this where everything is an absolute mess, but I can compare it to what it looked like just a couple months ago and really see the progress. So I say this pretty much every garden tour. I encourage all of you to do the same. Just take your phone out, snap a couple pictures, do a little bit of a video, and do it every month just so you can see the progress over the year. So I have been working on the Bobcat for the past couple hours. The rental company that I rented the Bobcat from, I guess I made a little mistake. They didn't tell me that I had to call and have them pick it up. So they didn't pick it up the day they were supposed to pick it up. And then it was Sunday and they're not open on Sunday. So basically I got it for free for one more day. So all day today, which is Sunday, I have been working with it and getting so much stuff done. So I am done now. I'm officially out of gas. So I have to stop, which is probably good because the first day I was on it, I was so incredibly sore that night. I could barely move. So it's probably good for me to stop. But I'm kind of, I'm covered with soil at this point and bark, but I have to show you all what I've got done because I'm pretty proud of it. It's definitely a lot of progress. So it's about 4 o'clock, first week of January. So that means the sun is already setting, but I think I have enough time to show you all what I want to show you for the January garden tour. And that is mainly this center island right here. So I rented the skid steer from a local equipment rental company in my area, and they were really nice. They're so sweet, and they're really accommodating. One thing I didn't like though is they didn't give me a ton of instruction on how to use this when it was delivered. But luckily I had done a whole bunch of research and I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos on how to drive one of these. So I felt pretty confident, and honestly, it took me just a couple minutes to kind of learn. You have to use foot pedals and you have to use your arms to go back and forth. And I pretty quickly figured out how to use it and felt pretty confident with it. So I'm telling you all this because if you're thinking about renting one of these because you have projects like I do, I say just do it, because if I can do it, you can do it. And I felt pretty safe. I mean, not pretty safe. I felt very safe, and I felt like it was worth it because I got so much done. And I do have to say, I probably will rent this again because I didn't finish everything I need to finish. But I did so much more this past week than I thought I would. So I'm pretty happy with the progress. So in this center island, the plan is to have this berm right here have the gazebo on it. So it's basically going to be raised about 18 inches, and then we're going to have a gazebo on it. And then from the gazebo, there's going to be a dry creek bed, which is basically looks like a river, but there's no water. It's just rocks. And that's going to go from the gazebo all the way down to that far corner over there. So I started off scooping out kind of the soil to kind of make way for the dry creek bed. But as I was scooping it out, I started running into this massive layer of landscape fabric with roots growing through it. And so when I did that, I knew that it was going to be like a major issue, and I wasn't going to be able to get through it really well, and it wasn't going to look neat. So I think it was kind of halfway through the day yesterday, or maybe this morning, I decided that I needed to start scooping out the landscape fabric. And the problem is the landscape fabric doesn't cover this whole center island. It only covers parts of it. And I didn't really know what parts. I knew over there it definitely had it because I had tried to plant things a couple times. And then obviously as I was getting this center what am I trying to say? Dry creek bed. As I was trying to scoop out this dry creek bed, I could see that there was some landscape fabric there, but I knew there was no landscape fabric over here. And then over there, I had actually started planting, and there was no landscape fabric over there either. So what I did is I just started, I'm going to get my boot so dirty walking around. I should have put my cover on, but I didn't think about it. So I started over here and I started kind of going along this way, basically just scraping off the top layer, making sure that I got that landscape fabric, and I ripped the landscape fabric out and then tried to get whatever junk was on top of it. So this is base natural soil you can see here that I can kind of amend with some compost and then maybe put some mulch on top and then start planting in it. So basically all day today I was just scraping it back wherever I found landscape fabric or junk. I would scrape it out and throw it in that pile over there. Now that pile I was planning to use as fill dirt for the berm for my my gazebo, but there's so much junk in that fill dirt and there's so much of that fill dirt. I think I'm actually going to have to rent a dumpster and actually get rid of it. I don't think that that's the kind of stuff I want to use as a base. You can use like rocky soil and junky soil as a base for a berm, but I think that that's a little too junky, I would say. So I'm probably going to get rid of most of that, but that is a problem for another day. So then I just kind of kept going and kind of scraping everything out. And then I made my way over to this pile over here. And this pile was where the trucks dumped the compost that we used to cover the whole orchard over there. And I still had a little bit of compost left over. So I actually started scooping that and bringing it over here to the long border, or the south border, whatever you want to call it. This is where the boys, Isaac and Milo, who helped me out in the garden, this is where they scooped out all the lava rock and the junk. And it was just like plain soil, but not very nice soil. It's kind of rocky soil. You can see right there. So I just added all this compost to it and we'll scrape it out and we'll work it in. And that should help improve the quality of the soil so that when I do come in and I start planting trees and other things like that in this area, it's going to have healthier soil than it had. So that was another thing I did a lot of the hours that I did have the skid steer. So yeah, it's definitely a mess, and you can see my driveway is it's a disaster, I would say, but I'm pretty happy with the progress that I got done and how far I came and what you could actually get done when you rent the right equipment. I was pretty happy with that. Okay, so moving this way into the orchard, not a lot has gotten done. I mean, I've got a lot of weeds growing, which is something that I have to deal with, but that's okay. We'll get to that. I did try scraping out the pathways with the skid steer, and that was a disaster. I seriously almost got stuck quite a number of times with the skid steer just because there's like 6 inches of compost over here. I didn't even think about it, but there's like 6 inches of compost and it's just not compact enough for the skid steer to drive on. The one that I rented had tires. There are skid steers that you can rent that have treads that allow you to go on soft soil like this, but I of course didn't get that one. So honestly, nothing happened over in the orchard when I had the skid steer, which was kind of a bummer. But that's okay. We can just kind of scoop out. Basically what I'm planning to do is shovel out the compost, throw it over to each side, and then it will be natural soil. I'll put some landscape fabric down. I have this metal edging that I'm going to be putting up, and in between the metal edging, I will put some decomposed granite. So I'm really excited about that. I think that's going to bring everything together, and I think it's going to make a huge difference once I'm able to get the pathways in. And I'm just going to start with the orchard. I think that that's the only place that I'm going to go for now, just to make sure that I can get it done and get it done properly. And then I can move on to the other areas of my garden. So then here's this garden bed over here. You can see that my fig tree, my beautiful fig tree, has lost all its leaves, which is completely normal. It is about time for me to come in and prune and do some dormant spray for it. The problem is I don't know how to prune a fig tree, so I have to research that and learn all about it. I do have some people that I can talk to that can help work me through it. Apparently it's pretty easy. I'm just kind of nervous just because I've never done it before. And then here is this garden bed. It's looking pretty good. I have my Emberace climbing rose right there that I am going to have to address this month. January is the month that, at least in my area, we address roses. We do rose pruning. We defoliate all the roses so that we can kind of force the roses into dormancy, and then do any spray or anything like that if you have any issues. I do have some Shasta daisies that are looking beautiful. I think they're going to be so very pretty in the spring. And then I have my my puppy that I don't know what you doing. Huh? What'd you find? He's been pretty good. He's been kind of chewing on some plants, but not too bad. This is my pomegranate tree, and it has lost all its leaves, just like the fig tree. Hopefully you can see that with the sun right behind it. I don't know. I can't decide if I love this tree or not. I really, really can't decide. I think I'll wait for it to get all its leaves again this upcoming season, and then I'll make my decision on whether I want to remove it or not. I just don't love it. And you can see I do have weeds. I have weeds everywhere, and I expected that, you guys. I never expected I did cardboard and a couple inches of compost, and I never expected that to completely deal with all the weeds, but it did give me a chance to get on top of it and then to be able to stay on top of it. And so that's called the no-till method, and so far it's working beautifully. I'm really, really happy with it. I do have to come in and harvest all my oranges. All my oranges are absolutely ready. We've been picking some of them and eating them, and they're really, really good. I have so many oranges. It's so funny. And most people around me have oranges as well. So it's like you can't even pass them off to anybody because everybody has their own oranges. So we have an abundance of oranges here. Let's see, coming over here, I do have these two piles. This is of granite and this is of a base layer. I'll talk to you all about that in a little bit. I do have a surprise, and I keep going back and forth whether I just want to tell you what the plans are or whether I want to make it a total surprise. And I just can't decide. So I'll just wait until I can make a really good decision on whether I'm going to tell you. This is all the excess. We already finished the project, and I'm thinking about putting it here. So basically this base layer is what you put under pavers, and then this decomposed granite is just to look pretty. So my thought is, right here, from here where the driveway is over to the espalier, I'm going to scrape all this out, put a base layer on, put these pavers. You can see I just temporarily put them here so that we weren't walking in the mud. But I think I'm going to put pavers all along that area and then put decomposed granite in between. And that is a relatively cheap way to put some flooring down until we have enough money to actually like pour concrete or something like that. So that's my plan, and that's why I use the skid steer to move these piles right here so that it's convenient for us and really easy just to kind of do it right there. Here's another spot that I got stuck in the skid steer. You can see I tried 3 times and it definitely didn't work, but that's okay. It's fine. And the area that I messed up most of it is the area that we were planning to dig out anyway. So it's totally fine. Okay. So coming over here, this is my secret shade garden. It's ready to go. It has all these plants that are looking really sad right now, but they're totally fine. They're just they're ready to be planted. And so I'm starting to kind of plan things out and plan where I'm going to put things. And once these perennials start kind of coming back in the season, I think that they're going to look really pretty. But for now, they're sitting there not looking as good as I want them to. What are you doing, Monty? Monty? What are you doing? No. Hold on. Look at your face. Look at you. You're a mess. Oh, one thing I did forget to show you all were the alliums that are coming up. Look at how good they look. There's tons of them. There are so many of them. You can see there's a whole bunch of olives that have dropped. So those are a mess, but that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. But look at all the alliums that are coming up all around there. And then I do have to come out and clean up my camellia. I'm telling you all, it's a mess. It's a complete mess, but I'm focusing on the big things for right now. So I'm giving myself a little bit of a break. Okay, back over here. The fountain, I had the boys put up a nice solid base for the fountain that Robbie got me. There's the sad other part of it. I did purchase a pump, a motor pump that I just have to kind of get out here, but it's just been so muddy and so gross that I haven't brought it out here. But at least I have the fountain put where it needs to be and it's ready to go. Just got to put the pump in and then got to put the top back on. So that's ready. This is all ready to be planted up. It has irrigation. It has compost. It has the walkway scraped out so that we can come in and put the metal edging and put the decomposed granite. So all the hard stuff is done. We just got to come in and we got to do the other stuff. All right, and then in the backyard, you can see we spread the wood chips all around the garden beds, and you can see that the skid steer did make quite a bit of a mess back here. But again, I'm okay with it because it was something that needed to get done. I'll just get more wood chips from the arborist that I work with, and I'll be able to spread more of it right there. One thing I was able to get done this month is set up this whole area in front of my office. And I am so happy with it. So happy with the combination of pots that I chose. I actually went to Home Goods and bought a whole bunch more terracotta pots that I am absolutely in love with. And this is kind of the color scheme that I think I'm going to go with in this home. It's going to be this green color, black, white, and then accents of metal and terracotta. And I think that it's just going to be perfect for my country romance California garden is kind of what I'm going for. So in all these pots right here, I do have tulips and daffodils planted in them, just a complete mix of all of them. So I'll be excited when they start coming up, and we'll see how they're doing. Over here in my Vigo beds, again, kind of a mess. I gotta come and clean up everything, but we have been working really, really hard here. My broccoli has bolted, and it's the type of thing that I almost give up because every time I've tried to grow broccoli, it's the dead of winter and it's still bolting. And I don't know. I honestly, I don't know what to do. I think I just might not be able to do it. It might just be too hot here. This is even the variety. Robbie brought this variety. It's called Yodfah. Yodfah. He said it's supposed to not bolt. It's the type of broccoli that's supposed to not bolt. And you can see it bolted. So it's very pretty. I like the flowers. I'm thinking about cutting them and putting them in a vase and bringing them inside. But it's just so annoying because I just can't grow broccoli. I can grow lettuce though. I'm doing really good growing lettuce. And then back here, I have my carrots. I'm going to wait until they're a couple inches taller to come and thin them out. But they're doing really, really good. I have onions back there. No, I have garlic back there. And then I have onions right here. And then finally, I have a bunch of ranunculus that I ended up putting in here. So everything's looking really good. Everything's looking happy. It's the dead of winter, but things are still growing, and I'm really happy with how they look. Don't look under my carport because that's where a bunch of our Christmas stuff is being stored temporarily. Let me show you why. Hopefully you can see in here with the light, but Milo and Isaac are making me a tote storage system, basically. So basically they're for those totes right there that I got from Costco, and this is on its side. It needs to be put up against the wall, but basically it's a storage system for all the totes to kind of come in and out, slide in and out really easily. So I'm planning to put the Christmas stuff is going to take up like half of these totes. So that's kind of a bummer, but then I'm going to be able to put, like a bunch of other stuff that we can just organize and have in these totes. So I'm happy about that. That should be getting done probably this week. And that's why all my Christmas stuff is just sitting there, just sitting there. And then I got this dumpster. This is a 10 cubic yard dumpster. In my mind, I thought I was getting a much larger dumpster, but no, this is nowhere near as big enough for what we needed. Basically, Milo and Isaac, they scraped the top layer off of the long border, the south border of my house. It had all this lava rock and junk soil in it and rocks in it. you can see it was just an absolute mess. So I had them scrape it all off. It also had pieces of these chicken manure bags that they threw away. Basically, I had them scrape it all off and put it in a pile over there that you can barely see. I didn't rent the dumpster while they were scraping it off because it took them like 6 days to scrape it off, and the dumpsters you basically have to pay for the amount of time that you have it. So to me, I thought it was the right idea to have them scoop it into a pile over there and then scoop it into the dumpster. But honestly, had I just got the skid steer and got a dumpster, I could have gotten it done in 1 day. So lesson learned, that's fine. But this is more like debris, garden debris that I need to get rid of. The dumpster company was supposed to come pick it up before I rented the skid steer and empty it for me so that I could fill it up with the skid steer, but there was kind of an issue and somehow I didn't get put on the schedule, and it was very annoying and very frustrating. And so here it is, just kind of sitting here. They're gonna be picking this up on Tuesday, and then I told them just to take it because like I said, lesson learned. I'm just gonna wait to rent the skid steer again, and then get the dumpster, and then do it all in 1 day. So more of a kind of mess around my garden, but we're getting there. And then over here, I have the big pile of wood chips that I need to clean up, but didn't finish. The big pile of, what is it called? Aggregate base. That's what it's called. Big pile of aggregate base that I need to clean up, but didn't finish cleaning up. And then the big pile of granite. This is 3/8 inch granite. This is not the type of granite that you would put in for pathways. For pathways, you would actually choose decomposed granite, and that will kind of stick together a little bit better. This is more, like decorative rock granite. So this was for like in between pavers and stuff like that. So anyways, I just need to come out here and I need to sweep everything. I did realize I don't have one of those push brooms. I only have one of these dinky little garage brooms, so I have to purchase one of those. But you can see just a whole bunch of mess stuff that I'm trying to clean up. And I had planned to clean everything up before I filmed this January garden tour. And then I thought, well, that's silly. Might as well show you all actually what the garden looks like in January. Okay, last thing I'll show you is the Zigzag planter. One, I have my bare root roses that I meant to get in the ground this week, but that distracted me. So these need to get in the ground next week. In my Zigzag planter, I have a whole bunch of daffodils and they're coming up and it's really exciting and I can't wait for them to grow. I am so happy that I left this purple fountain grass in here. It has been such a joy to look out and to see the purple fountain grass kind of blowing in the wind, and then to have the dichondra silver falls around it. It's just such a pretty winter look for the Zigzag planter, and I really, really like it. So eventually I'm going to have to cut back this purple fountain grass before new growth starts. But then hopefully the daffodils will be up and I won't notice the kind of, really short fountain grass that is left once you do cut it back. So anyway, that is what's going on with the garden. It's a mess, but we're getting stuff done. And he is being kind of a pain, but I love him. All right, and that is my January garden tour. What is going on? Truly, what is going on in the garden? I got off the Bobcat. It ran out of gas. I brushed off some soil, and I grabbed my camera so I could show you all what's going on. And I just have to keep reminding myself that that's what I want to show you in these garden tours. I don't want to go around and clean everything up and make it look all nice and say, oh, this is what my garden looks like, because it's not. This is what my garden looks like. It's a complete mess. But there is progress being made and I'm really, really happy with it. And I hope that in February and March, I can start making things actually look pretty instead of just kind of ripping everything apart, because I would love it once I start planting in late March, early April, that we can really enjoy what everything looks like. So we'll see. Again, it's my first year here at this property, so I have to take my time with it. And I have Monty that really distracts me. really is taking a lot of my time. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.